is Dana, and in this video God has guided me to talk about a DNA alteration. I think I mentioned this a few times. Maybe I didn't make a video dedicated to the topic, so there we go. We do it now. I think the idea is that what God wants me to talk about is what happens if you decide not to fight. It's on one hand, basically it's gonna happen a DNA alteration at the end, as darkness evolves in feeding onto you. It will transform you completely, and I will seek to explain a little bit how. And on the other hand, I think God wants me to talk about the fact that recovering your own identity and your own DNA, clearing your own DNA by all this darkness which is being sent to you, or God forbid, I hope not, but for many it is the case, darkness not only that was sent to you, but also darkness that you chose to follow, to use, and to do harm on others. So clearing all of that will take you to your own DNA, your own identity. And literally up until the point when you actually reach this level in your spiritual fighting and healing, you only do that. You only clear darkness, you only clear your DNA. You do the spiritual fighting of bondage breaking necessary to reach this point, which basically takes you to the original blueprint, your original blueprint, conceived by God when God created you as individual. When this is achieved, basically this is when you actually start using your gifts consistently in order to follow your divine purpose. So in your spiritual path, in everybody's spiritual path, will be the initial phase in which you first of all do this spiritual work, which includes spiritual fighting to break the bondages created on you, all the embodiments created with darkness on you. You do healing on yourself for the same purpose, in order to clear all this darkness. You receive justice. So all the procedures, both in divine realm and also in 3D, are met in such a way so justice is made to you. And that is the point when you actually reach the original blueprint, your identity DNA, and that's when you actually can start following fully your divine purpose. From experience, I can say that God works with you throughout time, and you will work on your divine purpose, but you won't be able to do it consistently, simply because the reason why all this darkness work on you of embodiments, attachments, and so on, has the purpose to stop you from achieving your divine purpose. So this is what they seek. And as long as you have still portals opened at you, you still have embodiments which are activated upon you, you must go through a certain clearing, healing, proving yourself if you want, literally just cutting off all of this darkness. But this is a matter of healing. It is a matter of spiritual fighting on your side, so you can actually gain the authority and the power to stand in your light. And at some point, after you keep doing this repeatedly, justice is being done. Why at some point? It's because God will give time to those involved in creating this on you. God will give them time to change their mind, to do repentance, to do redemption. And then, whenever the divine realm, the karmic board, and Akashic Records, God, and the entire divine realm decide that enough, it's enough, and we gave enough chances to everyone, but they are just determined to stay in the same situation, creating darkness, then at some point a line is drawn and justice is made to you. But again, that's only when you reach the proper level of power and authority, and you proved yourself. Then you will get justice, and then you start working on your divine purpose in a more systematic way. Now, let's go back to the DNA alteration, because actually this is what God insisted on me talking about today. The DNA alteration happens when, I said in a previous video, yeah, that the subconscious, the inner child, it's literally, energetically speaking, it is like a voodoo doll of energy, yeah, which is being created and attached to your rational and emotional body. It's mostly on emotional body, but also there are ideas planted, and you, as you go through healing, you will start recognizing yourself, ideas which were planted in your mind, to be fearful of something, to be ashamed of something, to be, certain ideas which are planted in your mind, because these become tools of trying to put hooks on you, on your emotional body. Namely, they will, it's very simple. They will, for example, just one example, there are many, but just one example, they will send sorcery to you or necromancy to you in order to use those ideas to torture you on subconscious level. This literally will increase the power of that voodoo doll of energy, which is the subconscious and the inner child. Yeah. For example, you should be ashamed of, I don't know, let me imagine an idea that they can plant in your head, which is not necessarily, you should be ashamed of whatever gossip is used again, is created against you. Yeah. If they say something, if they gossip about you, you should be ashamed. Then they will put sorcery on you. Spirits which will torture you on your subconscious level will keep doing levitation. Oh, you see, this neighbor said this neighbor said that, this colleague at work said this, your family said this. And it will amplify the emotion in your emotional body. There is, God is showing to me, now I understand what he wants. There is a logic of darkness. So what you need to understand is that, many people who do spiritual fighting, they know this. Literally, there are these individuals, humans, which create darkness and attacks by darkness, yeah? But then once they assign spirits or different sort of entities on you, those entities, and they summon them, they assign them, and they task them to do something to you, and they assign them to feed on you in a specific way. All this must be specified by that who does the sorcery. Now, that darkness has a logic of itself, which is an astral rule. Yeah. So this is why I said in a video a long time ago, I explained this before, it's important to make affirmations, because many times the darkness sent to you is being sent under certain logic, saying that you have been doing something wrong, yeah. But affirmations have the purpose to prove to stand up for yourself, and there are entities which will live on their own once you master the practice of making affirmations, yeah. Why? Because those entities, particularly demons, they know the rules of astral, and they know they get punished by God if you're innocent. There's certain procedures in which actually you go through Horus Gate, and you are proving that you're innocent in that instance which is being used against you, and they know that entities get karma as well and punishment, not only people, and they will live, yeah. So this is important. But if you do not master this practice, then the entities that have freedom to attack you continuously and to feed on you continuously, and they have their own imagination, so they invent different ways of torture in addition to the ones specified, yeah. For example, if they send entities and they say you must make her be fearful of me, that entity has freedom according to astral rule to do whatever it believes or it knows that you fear, yeah. So it will create the energy of fear in you. It's a little bit more complicated. The idea is though that this energy body is being created with all of this darkness, yeah, and this voodoo doll energy, and when this is being amplified and is blown out of proportion, and it gets to feed on you for a very long time, and to create deep wounds, many hooks, many strings, through either directly on you or through third-party individuals. It's amplified, and at some point it can take over your energy body, yeah. It becomes stronger than your energy, yeah. That means your entire energy body, that means rational body and emotional body, yeah. This is why even, for example, some of the mental illnesses come from this, from entity attachments and from darkness being sent to you, yeah. And that is being shown even through specific technology used in this case. So it's not only darkness, traditional darkness, through witchcraft and necromancy and so on. Nowadays you also have technology which can actually create the same thing. Basically all of this is being created through embodiments, which I already explained in another video. Embodiments of course come with different attachments, different attacks, and when they get basically to change dramatically your energy, yeah, both rational and emotional, then your DNA it's altered. What does it mean? An embodiment, for example, can change everything. Most times these individuals make multiple embodiments on you. So for example, an embodiment can change your nationality, for example, can change with the nationality, it can change your religion, religious beliefs and practices and so on. Like for example, you are let's say you are American, and they make an embodiment on you of being an identity from Turkey. That means you, although you as individual are Christian and are Catholic, the embodiment they created on you is Turk, which means it's most likely worshipping Mohammed and Allah and is Muslim, and it's completely different identity. This in itself, just this, can change completely your energy, because it's you as individual on conscious level, you do not know this, but this is the embodiment they created on you. So on your subconscious level, there are attachments from different witchcraft practices, entities from their religion. Each religion, unfortunately for us, each religion in the world has their own convents and witchcraft practices and different identities, deities, and so on and so forth. They can make an embodiment of on you of being from India, and you can be Hindu, or they have, as you all know, they have a number of deities in Indian spirituality. So that is an entirely different identity. Do you see? I gave you two different examples. Yeah, so you will see the difference. So you can be a Christian, but then on subconscious level, this voodoo doll of energy, your inner child, has attachments from a totally different religion, from a totally different practice, and you are not aware of it. Keep this in mind. At least up until some point, this can be two different things which happen in your reality simultaneously. Yeah, this is the parallel timeline. I made a video on this very early when I started making videos. Go check on my videos where I explained that all these embodiments create parallel realities, parallel timelines. Yeah, so you mind your own business in 3D, you live your life normally, and in parallel, in astral level, on subconscious level, this embodiment is being created, and then it's being amplified in terms of force of power. And this is why I said in the previous video that there is a specific time for each individual when God decides to start lifting the veil and of deception and showing. And this is why I said that only the divine realm can decide when this is a good time for everyone, because God knows what is done on your subconscious level, and God will let you know before it gets to completely take control of you. But then you need to start fighting and healing, because if you postpone or refuse, at some point it can be too late. And when I say it can be too late, it means that it takes too much power, which means it will mean too much work for you to clear. That doesn't make it impossible, but it will make it much harder for you. And if you don't decide to start fighting, literally the worst scenario is that you die because of too much darkness, basically. And you die with altered DNA, and then your spirit gets trapped, and there will be another incarnation, but in the next incarnation you will bring with you all the embodiments which they created on you. Yeah, so you'll have to clear all that, and you will be trapped on spirit level, which means that for you there will be a time of very difficult and painful experience during this time until you reincarnate, which means it's gonna be even harder for you to carry on the fight. Yeah, okay, so other changes that can be I gave you an example. Yeah, it can be religion, it can be nationality, it can be I don't know, anything, addictions, wounds, preferences. I spoke in a previous video and I said about preferences, even like, for example, through an embodiment, as I said, it can change even the sexual preferences. And if, again, I said, when it takes power over your rational and emotional body. Emotional body, it means that you will feel emotions which are not yours. Rational means that you will start accepting ideas which normally you wouldn't have accepted in a different circumstance. Yeah, you will start accepting, and I have seen this. I have seen this on some individuals throughout my spiritual fighting. I have seen individuals who completely changed 180 degrees, completely changed under this type of spiritual attacks and embodiments which they created on them. I'm not going to give examples, but because this is private life of somebody else and I don't want to talk about this, but it's been shocking to me. It's been shocking to me to see such a dramatic change in an extremely short time. Yeah, so it changes you completely. And for example, in a lifetime, you can go through multiple changes on your DNA. And literally very simple words, it means a lot of darkness put on you, yeah, attached to you through this subconscious inner child, which again I explained. I identified it as a voodoo doll of energy created throughout time within your energy body, and at some point it just simply grows too much. It overlaps your body and then your energy body, and then they put hooks to bind this energy doll to your own body, energy body. So it can simply overlap, or it can even grow even more powerful than your energy body. And then it's very dramatic because I have seen this again in certain cases of other individuals, because I have seen individuals who would refuse to fight, would refuse to do redemption, would refuse to even I've seen one individual to whom God gave a chance to clear everything. I will not enter into details, to give him a very deep healing, and he refused God. I was in shock. I said, why would he refuse? If God literally decides to erase completely everything you have done through a certain redemption act, because that individual had, I will explain why, so you'll understand. It doesn't happen often. I only saw it once, because that individual had a specific powers which are extremely important in this phase of ascension, and God wanted that individual to do something for humankind through a specific gift, specific ability that he had in working with spirits. But at that point in time, the individual didn't know exactly what is the ability and what is the gift. First, he had to accept, and only afterwards he would have had the chance to work with God, to learn how this to be done and so on. And he refused, completely refused. And I was in shock. So God explained to me, this individual did a lot of harm to me, and when it was the time for judgment for him, instead of asking punishment, I said, I will let God do his will in this situation, because I knew that God wants this man to do something for the humankind. And I said, it will be God's choice what to do in this situation. And God offered him this, and he refused. And I asked God, I said, I was in dismay. I said, how can he refuse this? I don't understand. How can he refuse this? I would understand that. I would be frustrated with the fact that you just completely offered to erase everything he's done. But why would he reject? And God has shown to me that literally, although his how to say, his own rational thinking was pushing him to accept, there was a struggle in him. Then this voodoo doll of energy, the subconscious level, and the attachments he had on the subconscious level, these embodiments, they were doing levitation. These entities were doing levitation on him. God showed me literally how it happened. And these entities were saying to him, don't accept, this is humiliation for you to accept this. She's a woman. You shouldn't accept this from a woman. This is humiliating for you as a man to accept forgiveness and so on. Nobody gave him forgiveness. I didn't give him forgiveness. Actually, I just told God to do whatever he decides, because I knew God asked me to help that individual. So I knew God wanted that individual to achieve something. He had a very important role. He was in such deep programming for a reason, because he had an important role for ascension, you know. But do you see how stupid? Do you see? And he refused, literally, just because of this. So it can alter your thoughts, your ideas, your rationale in evaluating, in making decisions, in following through with decisions, the courage to stay to stay in a fight, the focus, everything. DNA is everything, yeah. So it's your own energy. It can be altered completely when DNA alteration takes place. Then it's very difficult. It requires a lot of focus, a lot of determination, and a lot of spiritual fighting, and a lot of healing. Yeah, it is not impossible. All of us, to some extent, have our energy altered. Yes. Now, to what extent it reached the point of altering your DNA, that differs from case to case. Yeah. But this is extremely important. And this can also be done, for example, many times nowadays, there are attacks with technology in which through technology, very strong energy is being sent to you of specific medical treatments, which also alters your DNA. Yeah, and that's a totally different topic. It's not totally different, but it's another topic to discuss. That can also that those are very strong attacks, and for example, for DNA alteration, unaliving is extremely important for DNA alteration, because if they unalive you, essentially you have no energy awareness. So then you accept everything. The Illuminati attacks are on this type of are focused on this type of outcome, namely to do a lot of hypnosis, a lot of unaliving attacks, in order for you not to have discernment, not to be able to distinguish good from bad, right from wrong, or simply not to have enough, how to say this, strength and willpower in your energy, and in order to just stick with a certain decision, with a certain path, with standing up for yourself, and so on, fighting for yourself. This can be very easily done, especially Illuminati and Scientology, which this is what they do. They use technology a lot. they can only they can target, for example, Ajna chakra. And you have seen in 2022, I even posted on Facebook, there's been I don't remember right now exactly how it's called, but there's been a machine and some sort of technology invented and launched by Elon Musk, which literally trains your brain. It impregnates on your brain to do certain things which you cannot do. It rewrites your brain, literally. Yeah. So again, there are many ways in which certain attacks can become in themselves um, uh, can achieve this, and namely DNA alteration. Not necessarily spending time with embodiments, and because an embodiment takes time and so on. But there are certain technologies nowadays with which this can be achieved, DNA alteration. This is extremely important, yeah. So it's 31 minutes. I hope I touched on everything that God wanted me to talk about. Now, I said in the previous video that your focus has to be on your divine purpose and on a higher level understanding, higher perspective understanding of the dynamic between 3D and 5D and your divine purpose. And this is probably sort of like a warning, or I'm not sure exactly for what reason God asked me to talk about this. Probably somebody needs to hear it. People who chose not to fight. I mean, this is what I believe. People who chose not to fight. These are the karmics, you know. DNA alteration are the karmics individual. Yeah. This is what happens basically. These individuals, which I explained already many times. I'm not sure why I need to talk about this again. I explained already that they have gone through long-term, multiple incarnations of being embodiments created on them, and they didn't fight. They got to the point in this lifetime when, for example, there are many individuals about whom God has shown to me that they, for example, lost their soul in very young childhood through trauma, and trauma bonding created on purpose on them for this purpose, in order to analyze them and to just simply control them completely. That's DNA alteration. And again, this is how they became karmic, through DNA alteration. Yeah, what the DNA alteration means, I explained already. When the subconscious takes over your conscious level, and the subconscious again is the voodoo doll of energy created through embodiments, and embodiments means a number of spiritual attacks on you. But it can be created also through targeted individual attacks, not full embodiments. Yeah. So this is for them. I imagine it's for them. Yeah. I'm gonna stop now. I hope I said everything God wanted me to say. And of course, as always, if you have any questions, please mention in the comments. Yeah, I will be happy to answer.